Okay. All right, sounds good. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Reverend Walden, for coming and presenting to us this evening. We will have the recording of the presentation available on our YouTube channel later this week. And I believe we have Steve again tonight. Sarah Koch may be going off to the hospital about her child this evening. So Steve's going to help me out and post links in the chat. Again, our YouTube channel should be posted there for you, and you can pull down any of our videos from our past meetings or presentations. I'd like to welcome everyone to the March meeting of the 34th District Democrats. I'm Carla Rogers, chair of the 34th, and I'm now calling the meeting to order. For those of you just joining us, you may have missed part or all of the presentation from Mothers for Police Accountability, which is a grassroots nonprofit that's been healing the Seattle community and holding the justice system accountable for over 3 decades. I encourage you to review their website, which Steve is putting in the chat for you as well. And we'll have information on our Programs Hub page on the website with any details as well. Usually, I take this time to say a few inspirational words and talk about current events, but tonight I have to take this time to comment on the crisis in Ukraine. I have to acknowledge the horror we've all been undoubtedly focusing on the past 2 weeks. I spent this past Saturday, I'm actually going to share a couple pictures there. I spent this past Saturday attending a march and a rally in support of the Ukrainian people. I attended with Ann Martin and Colleen Hinton, and we watched as Executive Constantine delivered words of support from King County. The situation hits close to home for me. My entire technical team at my day job live in Ukraine. Each day since the invasion, I've tracked them one by one, learning about their status, hoping for their safety, sitting here in my comfortable, safe home here in the Puget Sound area. It's hard to believe what we're witnessing. This is what happens, though, when democracy is in the crosshairs. I hope this inspires you to play a role in our democracy. Be the strong advocate and champion that I know you can be. Now, I'd like to ask for a quick moment of silence, thoughts of peace, and recognition of the lives lost. Thank you. Please consider doing what you can do to support the people of Ukraine. The refugee crisis is growing dramatically each day. Steve will share a website in the chat that has several vetted organizations who are raising funds. I hope you all will put a little donation where your heart is. They really need us. Thank you. Finally, I want to note that the end of the short 2022 session is tomorrow. Thank you to all of our legislators for delivering on many of our priorities. I was completely stoked to hear that Senate Bill 5078 is on its way to Governor Inslee's desk. Our own Senator Wynn, along with both houses of the state legislature, decided to choose public safety over the gun lobby. I couldn't be more proud to live in Washington right now. I know some of our climate bills also made it through, and I want to say hats off to our Environment, Energy, and Land Use Caucus for raising their collective voice to support those bills. Our Healthcare Caucus also rallied for their focus bills as well. It's so cool to have a hand in policy, isn't it? Please consider joining one of our caucuses so that you too can get that satisfaction. All right, without further ado, I'm going to hand off to Rachel so she can share our land acknowledgement.
Thanks, Carla. On behalf of the 34th LD Democrats, I acknowledge the land on which we stand today as the traditional home of the Coast Salish and Duwamish people, the traditional home of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot nations. Without them, we would not have access to this gathering or to this dialogue. I ask that we take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land on which we live and work, who are still here.
Thank you, Rachel. Now for our VIP acknowledgements. I think I only see King Conservation District Supervisor Chris Porter. Chris, do you have a few words? Chris is, all right, Chris doesn't seem to be available. So let me just do a quick scan for anybody else before I move forward here. Okay. All right, well, I guess we have no VIPs to acknowledge. Our Speak Up survey tonight is an important one. And in just a few months, it will be time again to make endorsements as the 34th. Please take a moment to let me know how you think we should host our endorsements meeting. The choices are virtual, meaning Zoom, or in person. There is no hybrid option when we're doing this level of voting. Keep in mind that the goal for our endorsements is the same as with any election, to have as many people weigh in on our endorsements as possible. So take a minute. Steve's going to put the link in the chat. It will literally, it's a like one question survey. Please take a minute and share your thoughts. You can also do it after the fact. We have our, it's on our website, it's in the newsletter. I really would like to hear what everyone feels as far as our endorsements later on this year. Thank you for doing that and speaking up. I have purposefully removed Zoom tips from our slides tonight. It will be 2 years in May that we've started meeting on Zoom. So I think we're all getting pretty good at it by now. But if you start misbehaving, I will bring them back. All right, let's go to the approval of the agenda. Okay. All right, Steve's going to put a link in the chat also to the minutes. The screen shows the, oh, sorry, I went out of order, my bad. You can see on the screen the proposed agenda for the meeting. I did pull one announcement from the end of the agenda into an earlier point in the agenda, the fundraiser announcement. And that was to help Gina because she has a little baby that she needs to put to bed. So hopefully you will let me move some things around. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, would someone unmute and make a motion, please?
I will.
Thank you,
I will
Anne.
move adoption of the agenda.
Thank
It's
you.
hard to vote and do all this at once.
Yeah. Yes, you can multitask. I know you can.
And this is
Yes, Ann Martin, and I need a second.
Second, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel Glass, second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, please say nay. Okay, agenda is adopted. Moving on to the minutes. Steve will put the minutes link in the chat. The screen shows the meeting minutes from our February 9th meeting. I sent the minutes out in email on Sunday to all the members and PCOs. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Any corrections? There's the end. All right, if there are no corrections, I will take a
Move
motion.
Acceptance.
Is that Anne?
Yep.
Thank you, Anne. Have a second, please.
Second.
That was a robot. Could you repeat, please?
The
Yes.
second, Earl Gott.
All right, I still don't have, I need a name, please.
That was Earl Gott.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Earl. Appreciate it. All right, all those in favor, please say
Aye.
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 All right, anyone opposed, please vote nay. All right, minutes are approved. Thank you so much. Moving along to the budget. Our treasurer, Julie Whitaker, has the February treasurer's report to share. This report was also emailed on Sunday to members and PCOs. Julie?
Hi, everyone. Our beginning balance for February was $26,386.85. Our income was $14.80 all from memberships. Our expenses were $15.90 with a donation to NAMI. And we have the deputy treasurer, the bank fees, money minder, Revcom, Canva, Zoom. A membership expense for stamps. Programs expense was the donation to NAMI. And we also had our events expense for the venue rental. So that was all included in that. Our ending balance was $26,276.88. And I wish my account would look like this at the end of the month, frankly.
I think
Honestly.
everyone would agree with that, Julie.
It's less than $100 difference. I mean, that's fabulous. Good job, everyone.
All right, thank you. Any questions on the treasurer's report for February? Okay. There being none, we will file this for audit. And I just want to I just want to add in that I would love to have one member. All I need is one member tonight participating on our budget committee. I need one volunteer to sit with Julie and I, probably on a phone call, and go through our proposed agenda, so our proposed budget for next year. I'd really love to ask that a member do this. You don't have to have any experience in finance. It's really just to have a balance on this little committee, and a very light commitment, a couple of hours at the most. And we can even do it over coffee if you want. Maybe a little bit of email discussion. It's a very, very small commitment, but I would love to not have to ask board members who are already doing tasks for the organization to participate on the committee. So again, you don't have to be a finance person. If you can send myself or Julie a private chat or send us an email with your interest. The work needs to begin by the end of this month. And we'll be bringing that budget proposal into the May meeting for the membership to review. So if I don't get a volunteer, I am going to draw names out of a hat and you'll be getting a phone call. So please do that for me. Steve's going to put my email in the chat for you if you need it. All right, I will also note, as of yesterday, we had a total of 91 paid members and 102 PCOs, I believe. With redistricting, we shipped off 14 PCOs, I believe, and received 6. So that accounts for some shift in our PCO numbers. Nick can correct me later on if I'm off on that. Thank you everyone who's already renewed your membership or joined for the first time. We do have a pretty long way to go to get to our 300 member goal by the end of April. So, you know, another thing that the board does is those members who haven't renewed or rejoined us, we all have to take a whole bunch of phone numbers and start calling. So if you have not done that yet, please do that tonight. Steve can put that link in the chat as well. And finally, as always, change makes sense. It's always a good time to do that. And if you'd like to do that, click the link in the chat, which also Steve will get in there for you, and make a one-time donation. All right, I think we're ready to move on to our candidate spotlight. We will get started with that. And oh, you know what? I am not seeing Jim on here. 1 second. Oh, okay. I'm missing Jim Farrell. He was supposed to come in tonight. Maybe there was a little mix up there. Maybe I have an email that I haven't seen yet. So I think we will start with Lisa Mannion. Each candidate here will have 2 to 3 minutes to share your story. And we'll start out with Lisa, if you're ready.
I'm ready. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. And before I start, I just have to share Carla's shout out regarding Senate Bill 5078. I serve on the Alliance for Gun Responsibility Board, and I'm so proud of the Alliance and all of the citizens in Washington that stood up to the gun lobby and said no to high capacity magazines. That's great news for our state, and it will undoubtedly save lives. So, hello everyone, I am Lisa Mannion and I am running for King County Prosecuting Attorney. For the past 15 years, I have served as the Chief of Staff for the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, where I oversee a staff of 600 employees and an annual budget of $80 million. In this role, I have built effective programs to improve public safety, enhance victim services, and reduce racial disproportionality. I am especially proud of my work as a founding co-partner of the Choose 180 program. It's a diversion program to keep nonviolent juveniles out of the court system and in our community, offering them mentorship and opportunities so that they can make different choices. It is this work, coupled with my service to the Urban League and the Breakfast Group, that has earned me the endorsement of important civic leaders who are fighting for equity just like me. Individuals like Nate Miles, Martha Cho, Judy and Mark Mailing. I'm also proud of the work I'm doing with the Downtown Seattle Association, the Seattle Chamber of Commerce, and the Seattle City Attorney's Office to address organized retail theft and other commercial crime, and to improve public safety in the downtown core and all parts of Seattle. This work has earned me the endorsement of business leaders such as John Bridge, Aaron Goodman, and the SOTO BIA, and West Seattle's very own Jan Brown, owner of Dog City. My ability to address crime, the impact of crime, and also to get to the underlying root causes of crime have earned me the support of law enforcement and treatment providers alike. I'm proud to have the support of former Seattle Police Chief Jim Pugel, former Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best, former Seattle King County Sheriff Sue Rohr. I've been endorsed by Lisa Dugard, founder of LEAD, and Steve Woolworth, who is the CEO of Evergreen Treatment Services. My proven leadership, my deep level of experience, and my long commitment to justice and safe and thriving communities in all parts of King County have earned me the endorsement of important leaders like King County Executive Dow Constantine, former Governor Gary Locke, U.S. Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, Bellevue Mayor Dr. Lynn Robinson, Washington State Representative Jamila Taylor, former Supreme Court Justice Bobby Bridge, former U.S. Attorney Mike McKay, Washington State Senator John Lovick, and many, many more. And because it's March and it's Women's History Month, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that if elected to this office, I would be the first woman and the first person of color to hold this seat. Thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity to introduce myself, and I look forward to going through your endorsement process.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right, next up will be Judge Damon Shadid, please, if you're with us.
Thank you for having me here today. My name is Judge Damon Shadid. I am a judge at Seattle Municipal Court. In case anyone's wondering, I don't work directly with the King County prosecutor. Instead, we work with the city attorney who files misdemeanor charges in the city of Seattle. I have dedicated my career as a judge to find a better way for the criminal legal system to work. I have been building therapeutic courts in Seattle, including community court, a mental health court, as well as a consolidated calendar where people who have case managers in the community can come and work with the criminal legal system in order to find positive resolutions. We have a complex problem in our city. We have complex issues of community safety, as well as complex issues of how do we actually help people coming through the criminal legal system. And these complex issues deserve more complex answers than everyone needs to be locked up or the court should be abolished. Instead, we need to figure out ways to work together instead of working against each other. And that's what I've been trying to do for the past 2 terms. I've been trying to bring people together in order to find better solutions to the significant problems that we're facing in our city, and it's working. All 3 of the courts that I am presiding over now are succeeding on getting people out of the criminal legal system and increasing community safety. But the work isn't done, and I am seeking a 3rd term. And I would appreciate the 34th endorsement for this 3rd term so that I can finish the work that I started. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Judge Faye Chess.
Hello, I am Faye Chess, and I'm a judge in Seattle Municipal Court, and I work with Judge Shadid in Seattle Municipal Court. You heard a little bit from him about the work we're doing at the court. I've been on the bench now for 1 full term. I was appointed originally, and I have been excited about the moves we have made on our court an equitable court and accessible. Accessible not only in whether you come in because you are wanting to pay a parking ticket or you're getting a criminal case heard. We're called the People's Court, and there's a reason why. Is because we represent the people. We are here for the people. Telling you a little bit about myself, I actually live in West Seattle, so I feel like I'm among my neighbors. I've been here since 2017, and some of you all may have recalled meeting me years back. I was first running for the position because I had lost my home. I was homeless, and actually my dog was in the West Seattle blog, and I was looking to retain this position. And so now things have changed a lot for me. I've spent 4 years at SMC. I, along with the other judges, decided that community court needed to be reestablished. We have other specialty courts. We are doing things such as debt reduction. Our magistrates are hearing cases where people whose tickets went to collection long time ago are asking for them to be pulled out and to be addressed and their fees lowered. Just a little bit about myself. I started out as a public defender here in Seattle. And since then, I have worked for 2 school districts, one including Seattle School District. I've worked for 3 healthcare organizations as an HR professional. And finally, I worked for Seattle Housing Authority. I tell people that when folks come in front of me, I can understand their experience. I've been a single mom. I've been, I've lost housing, had to live in transitional housing. And as you can see, I'm a woman of color. So my experiences are varied. And I think that it helps me when I see people, again, the community members who come in front of me to hear their cases. And so I would appreciate your support, because I'm going to work at retaining this position. And as I do that, I'm also going to spend time working for other organizations such as Easter Seals. I'm on their board of directors. I'm actually a member of the Minority and Justice Commission. And I was appointed by Governor to be on the Oversight Committee for Legal Aid. So I'm busy, but not too busy to come and speak to great people like yourselves. And again, I ask for your support, and I am so thrilled to be among my neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Can you tell us what position you are in and running for?
I'm in Seattle Municipal Court, and I'm running for position number 6.
6, okay. I looked for it and I couldn't find it, so I had to remove Judge Shadid's as well, and Judge Shadid is position 7, correct?
That's
Yes,
correct. I'm in
that's
position
Thank
7.
you. All right, thank you so much. It really means a lot when you all come and visit us and you know, share your story with us so that we can be informed. And it's great to know that you're also our neighbor. So,
Yes.
thanks again, and good luck with your campaigns.
Thank you.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Sure thing. All right, we're going to move, switch gears a little bit. Many of you have heard about ranked choice voting, right? Tonight, we're going to learn about the Seattle Approves initiative. I know that I just signed the petition in front of Thriftway a week or so back, and they've already been collecting signatures for their campaign. But we wanted someone to come in and educate you all on what exactly you will potentially be voting on this fall. So I'm going to turn it over to Rachel to introduce our presenter. Rachel, you're on mute, I believe.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Carla. It is my pleasure to introduce Efren Hudnall and Logan Bowers. They work with Seattle Approves. Seattle Approves is a volunteer grassroots effort to make Seattle's elections the best, most representative elections in the nation. With all the problems that we face as a city, Seattle's democracy can't wait for reform. Approval voting is a simple, empowering change that gives voters more say over who represents them and can be implemented as soon as 2023. And without further ado, I would like to present Efren and Troy. Welcome from the 34th.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. And I think Logan's with me this
Yep.
evening.
We also have Troy with us in the peanut gallery, but Efren and I can will be giving you the overview.
Fantastic. And do I have permissions to share my screen? I do have a PowerPoint I'd like to talk through, if that is okay.
Let me give you co-host. Give me 2 seconds. And that was Efren, right?
Yes.
Okay. And there you go.
All right. I'm going to do my best here. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Thank you for your attention thus far. I promise this will be worth your time.
Having problems with your share?
I think I've got it.
Okay. Great. You're on.
All right. Well, good evening again, everybody. My name is Efren Hudnall. I hail from the 43rd district. It's good to be in the 34th tonight. Wearing my Seattle Approves hat with Logan Bowers here. We're here to talk to you about the Seattle Approves or Initiative 134. The problem statement in a nutshell is we're very fortunate to live in Washington State, where we have open primaries, so that the parties don't dominate the election process in the primaries. We also have the innovation that is democracy vouchers. But the issue that I think we all kind of feel when it comes time to vote for different positions is the field is huge, and we only have one vote that we can cast. And if you've ever heard the saying, "Don't throw away your vote, vote for this person," or pick this person because they're a more viable candidate, you know exactly the problem that we're trying to fix. Approval voting essentially does away with that by allowing you to approve to vote for as many or as few people as you would approve of in that position. This would only affect municipal elections, so City of Seattle races in the primary. You vote for the person that you think could do the job and do it well, and then the way it tallies on the back end is the individuals with the most approval votes, the top 2 move on to the general, and then it's a traditional runoff election. You vote for the one person, and that person gets the seat. Odds are you've probably taken a look at a ballot and you've seen more than one person that has been good for the job. And so it's a simple fix. It's something that is intuitive enough that we think we can get implemented as soon as next year. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Logan to go over the technical portion of it, because I'm more of I'm the intro guy. So Logan, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you, everyone. I hail from the 37th, so I appreciate being the guest in your district. So, I think before we go into the details, I wanted to pull two quotes from folks who have had some time to think about this, and I think they're really describe, I think, why we're working on this. So one is from Northwest Progressive Institute, who advocated for implementing approval voting in our region as far back as 2018. And what they said is, if our goal is to improve the voter experience and to bolster participation and safeguard the future of our democracy, then we should design a ballot that encourages people to vote honestly. And Cascadia should do that by, should study and test approval voting. Before they wrote that, there were not jurisdictions that had adopted approval voting, but now there are actually 2 in the United States. So we have that test now. The second quote here comes from an op-ed recently published in St. Louis, which is the city immediately prior to us, who adopted ranked choice voting, approval voting, and then used it in their elections last year in 2021 for their mayoral race. And what they said, and they're now defending their work, the initiative passed, and what they've said is, the new approval voting system provides winners with a true mandate to govern by ensuring the person elected to office is also the person with the most support. Requiring broad electoral support to win elections means a more accountable, more representative city government for the many and not just for the few. And that came from the St. Louis League of Women Voters and their voting reform group locally called Show Me Integrity. And I think those two passages really capture the values of why we're so excited for approval voting. Do you want to actually, can you rewind one slide to yes, right here. So I want to pause for a moment and just on the mechanics, see if folks have any questions, if this makes sense so far, or if they have any questions so far on the mechanics of how this works. All right. Okay. Well, now,
I'm sorry. I want to ask: is this just for primaries?
Just for primaries.
Correct. Okay.
Yep. And part of that, is that makes the change smaller. Part of that is it is state law that we have a primary and we must have a top 2 general. So if you want to do voting, if you want a better voting system in the city, but you don't want to, but you can't do the work of changing state law because that's very, very difficult, then our options are only to modify the primary. By state law, we must have a top 2 general.
So I'm sorry, I have a question. My hand thing doesn't work. So then it goes like this, and then they vote again when you take the top ones?
So only to the extent we have a primary election and then a general election. So on an approval, so in the primary election, you can pick more than one candidate. If you like 2, you can pick 2. If you like 4, you can pick 4. And basically what you're saying is these candidates are good for me. And the 2 candidates with the highest approval, the most voters that filled in the bubble for them, those 2 candidates move on to the general election in November.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. I think we can, any others? Cool. Okay. You want to run us forward to, there we go. Yes. So the mechanics are quite boring. We should move on to probably something that's a little more interesting. And if you want to hit me a couple slides, we'll do something to make this worth your time. So we can talk about some arches, and specifically the St. Louis Arch. As I alluded to, they are the first, the second city in the United States to adopt approval voting in recent history. So they recently had a mayoral election in 2021 with approval voting, and we can see what the results look like from that. If you want to, yep, perfect. There we go. So this is what an approval race looks like in a primary. So they had 4 candidates for mayor. the winning candidate in that, well, their top two won, but the highest approval was 57% in approval from the electorate. That was Tashara Jones. And then Kara Spencer was number 2 with 46% approval from the electorate. So just for reference, in Seattle in 2019, your typical city council candidate in the second place position was making 30 to, yeah, if you want to hit one more slide with the arrows. 30 to 35% was what a winning candidate in Seattle in a primary race would receive. So what you're seeing here is that essentially a candidate has to represent 10% to 15% more of the electorate just to get out of the primary. So that means that these candidates are going to work a lot harder for your vote. They're going to work a lot harder for your approval. They can't rely on just a small base of voters to squeeze them through the primary. They're going to work real hard to win every last voter over in your district or in the city. So I think with that, we can ask ourselves the question, which is like, if you want to look at the ballot for Seattle, if you want to hit the next slide. Like coming back to this 15-person race for mayor that we just all experienced, which is, you know, how many of these candidates, if you take a moment to look at it, would you say actually you were like, yeah, I like that candidate. I think they'd make a good mayor. For a lot of folks, we find that number is, you know, more than one. Oftentimes it's 2, sometimes it's even 3. Okay, so there's a few common questions we get. And if you want to hit us, move us to the next slide. So the first kind of question is, this is so simple. You know, does it really work? And the answer is essentially yes. We've been working on this for about 2 years. And when we first learned about approval voting, we were like, okay, well, this is really simple. What's the catch? And there's lots of research, there's lots of scientific work on election systems. And it turns out there is no catch. Approval voting is actually one of the most effective systems that is implementable in the world. And not only that, but it's also one of the simplest. So, you know, we think that's really important because we think that, you know, we got to keep the ballot simple, we got to keep the ballot accessible, so that, you know, not everyone is going to necessarily speak English as their first language or spend a lot of time reading ballot instructions. We want to have a simple, familiar ballot to make this, make voting as accessible as possible. We think that's key. The next question we typically get, how does this compare to other voting methods? There are a great many ways to run elections. As I mentioned, they're studied extensively. I won't go into too much detail, but there is a way to basically measure how effective elections are at representing the will of the voters. Did the candidate match what the voters intended? That's a common one. It's called voter satisfaction efficiency. We can get a link to that if folks are interested in digging deeper. Score systems on basically a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 is pick a candidate at random and 100 is read the minds of voters perfectly. And if you want to hit the next slide, you know, there's a lot of deeper reading on this, but what it turns out is plurality voting is somewhere around the like 70 to 75 mark on a scale of 100, and approval voting ends up being on the order of 87 to 92-ish on the score. So there's lots of different systems. You know, some perform even better, some perform somewhere in between. Plurality is about the worst we can do, which is the system we have today. So just about anything is better. But approval voting has that sweet spot of being very simple, very, very well performing. So I won't dive too technical on that.
Logan, so sorry to interrupt you, but this is just to the audience in general. If you have any questions, can you just direct message them to me? I just don't, I know Logan or Troy well, wait, Logan. Logan's trying to.
My apologies. I signed
No,
in under the wrong
I
name.
didn't want you to have to be fielding questions while you're doing the presentation. So if you all want to just pass questions to me on the direct message through the chat, I will be happy to do questions at the end of this so that you can get your questions answered. Sorry, go right ahead, Logan.
Oh, no, thank you so much. Sometimes I try to multitask too much. Okay, so so we can get you some deeper leaks on this if you're interested, but what we worked real hard here is to get into the sweet spot of very well-performing voting system that is also not hard to use. So the last question we get usually by about this time, which is, what? Okay, all right. Well, if there's no catch and this is so simple, why isn't it done everywhere? And the answer that we found basically is someone has to step up and do it. And it's not generally very attractive work because most folks that we talk to, they ask us, well, is my guy going to do better or worse under this system? And our answer is always like, we don't know. If the voters like your person, they'll do better. If the voters don't like your person, they'll do worse. This is about empowering the voters. This isn't about a specific ideology. So you have to find groups of people who are really highly motivated for voters to get what they want. And that's that takes some time. So, but that's where we got, where we were able to step in and see that this was a viable option for Seattle. So, so we're excited to be doing that. So at that point, so the status and next steps for us. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. This is an old slide deck. The initiative text is done. We are collecting signatures. We hope to qualify for the November 2022 ballot. That is looking good right now. Thank you for signing our petition. We're super excited to have that presented to voters this year. If we approve, if Seattle voters approve this in November 22, then we could be using the system as early as the 2023 City Council elections. We are, as always, trying to reach out to all groups anywhere and everywhere in the city. So we are always around. We're always asking for suggestions of who would be interested to talk to and who would like to hear more. So with that, I will pause there and say, see if folks have any questions.
Yes, we do have some questions, and I just want to, here, let me, so one of the main questions is, can you talk about how this compares with ranked choice voting? That has, a couple of folks have asked about that. So just briefly, can you kind of make the comparison just so that it makes sense to the audience here?
Yeah, Efren, you want to take that one, or you want me to keep going?
I think I know where this is going. I'll let you take this one, and then I think I'll probably do the follow up.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so the difference from a voter perspective is kind of on two sides. So on the voting side, the ballot is simpler with approval voting. So right, you're just filling in ovals for multiple people. So if you like two, you pick two. On a ranked ballot, you're putting everyone in order, right? This one's number one, this one's number two, this one's number three, so on and so forth. On the tally side, with approval voting, you're just adding stuff up. With a ranked ballot, you are doing a system of what's called a runoff, and then you eliminate a candidate, then you do another runoff and you eliminate a candidate. So the tallying is a kind of more complicated system. Fundamentally, they both get at the same thing, which is they make the election system more representative. That means that the candidates that win under these systems are fundamentally, more accurately will represent the views of the voters. We really like the approval voting route simply because it is very simple, and it doesn't have the complexity of ranking. So that's kind of, and that simplifies tabulation. It also tends to result in more accurate results.
We have another question. Who is opposing this initiative and why?
Yeah, we don't have any official opposition at this time. It does look like there are some Fair Vote Washington did put out a tweet saying they oppose this initiative because they want ranked choice and not approval voting. So that's their opinion. I will stress that there is no ranked choice option for the city of Seattle. In 2023, there probably won't be in this decade. So while I have a great respect for folks who are, say, hey, we really love ranked systems. We want to number our candidates from 1 to N. That's awesome. It's not an option in Seattle, probably until the early 2030s. So I would simply appeal to those folks, like, this is an option we can have at least for this decade. And if voters want to switch in 3 or 5 election cycles, great. Like, voters should absolutely have that option.
Another question here. Are you looking at approval voting as a, what do you call, interim process heading into ranked choice? Or are you looking at approval voting as the end, the result, the goal?
You want me to take this one? I'll take this one. I guess the short answer would be yes to both. Approval voting is ultimately up to the city of Seattle, right? Approval voting could be that intermediate reform, and the end result could be something like ranked choice voting, or this could be the final innovation that we see in the city of Seattle within our lifetimes. Our goal here is to realize a change as soon as possible, because the current plurality voting system is producing results that no one wants, or not no one, is producing unequitable results. So it is very likely this could be an intermediate reform, or this could be something that is more long-term. We're agnostic towards that. We're hoping to get something passed as soon as possible, so that we can have more equitable elections next year, if that's what we can do. Yeah.
I'll add real quick,
yes.
right?
Yep.
Like, personally, I love approval voting. I think it's great. I think the balance is awesome, but like, fundamentally, this is the choice of the voters. So, I hope we approve approval voting. I hope voters use it. I hope they like it. And if they choose to like ranked choice better, that's awesome. Like, voters should get what they want.
So a couple of other folks are asking about if you could just expand a little bit on why having 2 different voting methods, i.e. one for the primary and one for the general, is more simple than going for a single ballot type straight through, like ranked choice voting.
Yeah. So again, this comes back to what's possible. So it's not possible within the bounds of current state law to what that's basically saying is eliminate the primary. So rather than having a primary, just put all the candidates in the general election and use some sort of you could use approval in the general, you could use a ranked ballot in the general. You take your pick of voting method. That is only possible with a change of state law, likely only with a statewide initiative. Elected officials rarely like to change the voting system they won under. So that's probably a statewide initiative. So if you want to eliminate the primary, I think that's a really interesting goal and a discussion worth having. It's just one that has to be had statewide. So that's an example of like why that's a reform that's potentially very, very cool and very, very valuable. But it's also something that's probably unachievable this decade, simply because we cannot make that reform at the city level. So within the bounds of state law, the only thing we can do is modify how the primary works. And so by doing that, what we can do is make sure that when we get to the general, we get the 2 strongest candidates that are going to best represent the city and get a good outcome. The nice thing also, I'll just point out real quick that there's difference kind of question there about having a system in the primary and a system in the general. With approval, like when you get to a general election, there's only 2 candidates on the ballot. So there's never an ambiguity like, how do I do this? If you just used approval in the primary, because there's only 2 and you're not going to approve of 2 in a 2-person race.
So there's a follow-up here on this same question about using the two different methods. Do you have any data on if using two different methods like in St. Louis for the primary and then different for the general has led to more ballots being thrown out overall due to confusion or the difference in the rules or the structure, anything like that?
Yeah, so again, just to clarify, there's not two different methods, right? Because when you get to a general election with only two candidates, all the systems are essentially the same system because there's only two candidates. So it's not using one system for the general election and one system using for the primary. It's simply picking what you use for the primary. The St. Louis election is a very instructive example. The short answer is no, there wasn't an increase in tossed ballots. In fact, with approval voting, your ballots can only get more counted. Today, some ballots, people fill in more than one bubble and those ballots get tossed. That no longer happens under approval voting. So we consider this an enfranchising change rather than a disenfranchising change. In St. Louis, in the primary, voters on average chose 1.5 candidates. So voters clearly used the system. They clearly derived value from it, but they also didn't go crazy. It's not like voters, picked all 4 candidates and then made their ballot kind of meaningless. They judiciously used the system, and they actually made history with it. They elected their first Black female mayor in the history of the city.
Okay, let me just make sure that if I missed anything. I wonder if there's just sort of a final thing that you can say, because I think there seems to be some discomfort for some folks that if you can vote for more than one candidate, that somehow that isn't going to be legit, or it's not going to reflect who really won. Can you just talk a little bit about that, just to sort of clarify why this is completely a legitimate process for voting?
Yeah. This kind of comes up frequently because folks are like, oh my gosh, if you're picking like 3 candidates, you're casting 3 votes. And that's not what's happening under approval voting. What's happening under approval voting is you're actually voting for every single candidate, and every single candidate you're giving either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And so if you fill in the bubble, that's a thumbs up. And if you don't fill in the bubble, that's now an explicit message. You're saying, I do not like this person by not filling in the bubble. And so you're going from saying only a little bit about a single candidate to saying making a statement about every candidate. And that's why it's so much more powerful for the voters. Suddenly you're conveying much more information about, like, yes, I like these 3 people and I dislike these 7 people. You're conveying much more information there. So that's where that's coming from.
Okay.
Efren, do you have anything, any thoughts to add on that I might have missed?
Yeah, we just have about another minute. Sorry, Efren, not to cut you off.
No, I think Logan hit the nail on the head there. And also, I think it's also instructive for candidates after an election cycle to see what messages resonated with the voters. How many people who ran on a platform of X got an approval vote, and how many candidates who ran on a platform of a different type didn't get an approval vote. It's just more information, which is better at the end of the day. Our stand and our argument is that more information is better.
Okay, so we do have to wrap it up and continue to the next item on our agenda. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us more information on approval voting. There are some links in the chat, so please, folks, anybody who has continued or follow-up questions, look to the chat and use some of those links to do some research. And here we go. Thanks, Carla, for having this information. Please take that link, go there and find out all that you need to know. And I'm sure that Logan and Efren can answer any questions that you have. If you guys would be willing to put your contact info in the chat, that folks can do follow up with you after this meeting, that would be great. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. We're always excited to field questions. We've been working on this for years, and we just went through a whirlwind presentation on it in 20 minutes. So so when you get follow-up questions, absolutely hit us up. We always love chatting with folks about it.
Thanks so much again. Let's give another round of applause. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I mean, gentlemen.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for the time.
Yes, thanks for coming in and educating us. Appreciate it. All right, running a couple minutes behind, but I think we can make it up. We're gonna move now to fundraising. I'm gonna ask everyone to pay attention to this because this is an important thing that we need to do every year, and we haven't been able to do this for 2 years. So I'm gonna invite Gina Top, our new fundraising and events chair, to give us some information about the next or first the first in-person event that we're going to have in my term. We're doing this in person. Gina, wanna?
Awesome. I've got it. Thank you, Carla. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gina Top. I'm joined by my new daughter, Cora. And I have the honor of planning this year's fundraising event, which is going to be in person, which I am so excited about. For the first time in 2 years, we're going to have an in-person fundraising event to support all the amazing work that we're doing here in the 34th. And we're planning way ahead. The event is in July. It's going to be on July 14th. It's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. at Arthur's Restaurant. Yep, even Cora's excited about it, which is in the Admiral District in West Seattle, so Northwest Seattle. The theme is in the works. It's to be determined. We were going to unveil the amazing, incredible theme next month. But tonight, and only tonight, if you save the date on your calendar and reserve a ticket, and there's going to be a link in the chat. Oh, Steve has already put the link in the chat. Thank you, Steve. If you reserve your ticket tonight, your contribution will be matched. So please head to the link now or sometime in the next 4 hours while the day is still fresh, and reserve your ticket for our annual fundraising event, and your ticket amount or your contribution will be matched. Next month, we're going to be announcing the theme and the special themed cocktail that goes along with the theme. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, please purchase your ticket and join us for our first in-person fundraising event in 2 years and help support all the work that we're doing here in the 34th. Thank you so much, Carla, and thank you so much, 34th members. I hope to see you on July 14th.
Awesome. Cora was not having any part of this, this presentation timing. So you got through it, and she was a great cheerleader. Awesome, thank you. Could not be more excited that Gina stepped up to organize this event. I've already bought, I know she's already bought her tickets. I think, you know, I'd love to see a bunch of other folks doing this tonight. I know it's far away, but get it on your calendar, get your ticket, and we'll have a match for that as well. So click the link, and I will definitely be nagging you about this all the way to July. So you'll hear a lot more about this fundraiser as we move into the year. Thank you, Gina. All right, I'm going to move into PCO. I'd like to welcome Nick to the podium to do a PCO appointment. We are going to use our Zoom poll system to take the vote on this tonight to make sure that only members and PCOs are voting. So heads up that we're going to do that in a moment. And I've also asked Nick to say a few words about our outgoing PCOs. So Nick, please take it away.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, Zach, if you don't mind putting your video on and your unmute your button also.
Yes,
So
sir.
tonight I have the honor of presenting a prospective PCO, Zachary Ricketts. His precinct would be Seattle 34 3767 for PCO vote. Zach, I'm going to read you the oath, and we'll get a vote out for you. So, are you willing to serve as a Democratic Precinct Committee officer until this year, December 1st, 2022? And do you recognize that it's your responsibility to know the boundaries of your precinct and be familiar with its residents and registered voters? Also, do you understand that your duties also include providing voter and campaign material for endorsed candidates prior to each primary and general election, get out to vote activities, new voter registration? And before I ask for a motion to appoint, could you answer this question? Are you a Democrat?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, Madam Chair, may I have a motion to appoint this PCO?
All right. So would someone like to make a motion, and then we'll do the Zoom vote?
Rachel, so moved.
Second,
All right.
that's Ann.
And Ann seconded. Thank you. All right, I'm going to launch the poll. I will let you guys go ahead and vote there again, PCOs and members only. And Zach, I just loved your attitude. We had an email exchange,
Yeah.
and Zach seems like the kind of guy we need a lot of. Energetic, like ready to tackle it, and I'm super excited to have you join us. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Zach, if you don't mind, just why do you want to be a PCO?
You know, it's funny. I've always wanted to find a way to make a difference, right? And after, attending the last meeting, which happened to be my first meeting, and I was like, you know what, this might be that first step, right? To really getting out there and speaking about real issues and trying to influence people the right way. So I want to use whatever I can to make a difference.
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
Awesome. I love it. Cool. I'm going to end the poll, and you are 100% approved. So welcome to the party. Thank you.
Thank you.
I told you that, Zach.
Thanks, Nick.
So we all know, we've all heard about redistricting, and the boundaries now for the 34th have changed, and we're going to be losing parts of Burien, and actually we're going to be losing 14 PCOs from Burien. And we all know the tenet of political action is change. With redistricting, we'll say goodbye to our friends, our PCOs in Burien, who will become our friends, who are now going to be going to the 33rd. And what I'd like to do is, I'd like to read their names out instead of just having it on the board. Crystal Marks, Annie Phillips, Joshua Wilmot, Clara Sikowski, Esty Chen, Sarah Brusig, Grace Stiller, Chris Weiss, Nancy Kick, Sam Mendez, Sarah Postel, Colleen Hinton, Donna Christensen Salcedo, and Rocco DeVito. It's tough to lose you guys, but you'll be there in the 33rd, and we'd like you to be just as involved as you were in the 34th, and to keep Burien voters informed and get Democrats elected. We'll see you at the Burien Pride, Burien Strawberry Festival, Burien Fiesta, and also at election time, both in the primary and in the general election for city council seats, we'll see you in front of the Burien Press. So maintaining strong relationships and supporting Burien will be helped now by 2 Burien PCOs coming from the 33rd to the 34th, Annie Weiss and Samantha Souffrant. Some of you may know them. Please join me in welcoming them, and also in welcoming other PCOs that are coming from the 11th, the 37th, and the 43rd. Along with Annie and Samantha. Amanda Brown from the 11th, Sarah Servin, White Center, McKinley Precinct, and Adam Hutchison from the 37th, and Linda Mitchell from the 43rd. We still have many precincts without PCOs. If you are or know anyone who might be interested, please, you all know how to contact me. Anybody that has questions about being a PCO, call me, contact me. And PCOs, if you have questions about what's coming up for this year, let's talk. It's an important election year. We've got elections for Congress, state senator, state legislatures, King County prosecutors, judges. And again, you're going to get emails from me, and you're going to get tired of me saying this. Mark your calendars for May 16th through May 20th. That's filing time for PCOs. So please put those dates on your calendar, and more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. I will also chime in to say a big, huge welcome to our incoming PCOs. I reported to the board earlier this week. We had our very first member join from some of our new areas. That happened this week. So that was pretty cool. And for our amazing 14 departing PCOs, this is not goodbye. We invite you to continue to visit us. Nick mentioned some activities. We'd love to see you there, do things with you. We'd love to have you come to our socials. Those are just fun times. And just imagine our power, that when we work together, 2 districts, just makes it even more strong than our voices are as one. So please stay active in our important mission. Best wishes in the 33rd, and we will see you around the neighborhood. All right, there is one last piece of business that we have to do to close down this redistricting effort. As required by Rule 4 of the Washington State Dems Central Committee post-redistricting rules, if that wasn't a mouthful, we need to consider a motion on holding an election for officers or continuing with the current elected officers that we have until the end of the term. So that is chair, my role, Rachel's role as vice chair, our 2 state party reps, Chris and Roxanne, and then both reps to King County Dems Central Committee. This is just part of the official process to close out the redistricting activities. So I need to have a motion from the floor. I think Bunny was potentially going to make this motion. Awesome.
I would move to keep the currently elected chair, vice chair, state party reps, and KCDCC reps from the 34th District Democrats in place until December 31st, 2022.
Thank you. Thank you, Bunny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Name, please.
Karen.
Thank you, Karen. Karen Richter is seconded. Bunny has made the motion. And again, just to explain, the point is we've brought in some new PCOs. We've had some PCOs leaving. So the point is, do we want to keep the same leadership, or do we want to have a new set of leaders? This is a lot more relevant for some of the other districts where they've lost chairs in redistricting, or maybe they have 2 chairs now because you're a chair until you're not a chair. So just want to make sure everybody understands what we're voting on. And again, this is a PCO only vote, and I'm going to launch it right now. Please vote. 2 questions. And if anybody has a question on this, please let me know. I know all this redistricting stuff is kind of wild. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We've got 30 seconds, 1 more vote. Okay. All right, last chance to vote. I will end the poll and share the results. Okay. And I'm ending. And I will share the results. So when I hit share results, do you all see this?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
great.
getting it. Yeah, I'm getting it.
Cool. I've never done that before, so here we go. I learned something new about Zoom every day. Okay. Well, thank you for allowing Rachel and I, Chris, Roxanne, Leah, to continue our roles. We are delighted to stay on till the end of the year. Thank you for that. Having done all this, let me shut this down. Having done all this, I'll call out that there are still lawsuits pending in the courts around the redistricting actions. I've gotten pings about this week. You may see this in the paper. I think there was a Seattle Times article yesterday. There is still a chance that things could change. For now, though, we have to move forward as required by the state with the maps that were put forward. We will certainly keep you informed if anything changes, but as of this point in time, we are a new district. All right, thank you for that. Okay, moving on to caucus. So our next agenda item is caucus, which will take place, and again, this is a delegate caucus, 2022 delegate caucus, which will take place on Saturday, March 26th. It will be virtual, nothing in person, and it will start at 10 a.m. Now, this is an issues caucus. What that means is we're not going to collaborate, to gather together to put in our presidential candidates, right? We're electing 32 representatives from our district to be the voice of the 34th at the state convention. Along with those 32 delegates, we need 16 alternates. So we have several automatic delegates, which include myself, Rachel Glass, our state reps, Chris and Roxanne, Senator Wynn, Representatives Cody and Fitzgibbon, and US Rep Jayapal as well. This is a really important event for our district. I want to beg you all for participation. It's also important for the state as well. Please consider running for delegate. To give you information about the caucus and why you should attend, vote, or be a delegate, I want to introduce Colleen Hinton, who is one of our departing PCOs, but who's been kind enough to stay on in her role as caucus and elections chair to help get us through this event. Joining her will be Rachel Glass, who's our chief recruiter, and Chris Porter, who's state rep and also co-chair of the state party's Affirmative Action Committee. Colleen?
Great, thanks Carla. Hi everyone. So yeah, caucus time, an exciting time because it's a chance to really set the agenda for what our state Democratic Party stands for and what we want to see on the platform and what resolutions we want to bring forward. So Rachel and I are working hard to contact people and try to get people interested in running as a delegate. Carla already mentioned what's required, but basically anyone living in the 34th can run to be a delegate. You don't have to be a member per se of the 34th organization. You just have to live in the 34th. There is a registration process, just so we know who we've got and who we're going to be voting for on Caucus Day, which is 2 weeks from this Saturday, so March 26th, 10 a.m. You don't have to attend the caucus to run, but you should at least register and submit a written statement, which we could then read out at the caucus so that people will know about you and to vote for you. What else? Carla, I think, mentioned that we need people also to register to vote at the caucus, to attend and vote at the caucus. So that will appear, it's on our website, but Carla will also be putting it in weekly emails, and everyone will get an email on the Wednesday prior to the caucus, which will have the links as well. And the state convention is going to be held on Saturday, June 25th. It will be held in Tacoma, but as she mentioned, you can attend either in person or virtually. We just need to know that by April 1st. So you have to decide pretty early on whether you're going to go down to Tacoma or rather attend on Zoom. And the only other requirements are there will be a couple of Zoom meetings between the time of the caucus and the time of the convention, just to help you get organized as a delegate and help you go through the materials and prepare yourself for the convention. So I think that is it. We do have some affirmative action goals, so we get a nice representative delegation, and I am going to hand over to Rachel Glass and Chris Porter to talk to you more about that.
Chris, would you like to go first? Oh, I just need to unmute.
Yes, I'm sharing the screen. Everybody see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Oh, great, great. Chris Porter, pronouns he, him, his, and I am state committee person and co-chair of the Affirmative Action Committee. And this part is really about the 34th living up to its commitment about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So when we start thinking about our delegate selection and the affirmative action goals, it really is asking some fundamental questions about who gets to be there, their voices, and what our delegation looks like, or what our representation looks like moving to the state convention. These images are from the 2008 DNC, and the beauty of that one time in history was, as you looked across the delegation floor, the floor of the convention, the delegates were as diverse as I think I could ever have hoped and imagined. And that took a lot of energy, sweat, focus, tears to get everyone on board with the moving beyond our comfort zones and thinking about a commitment that, at least in the 34th, we made some time ago to diversity and inclusion. And we'll talk a little bit later about who's at the table. So I'm going to shift over to Rachel, because she has some words that help us think about this.
Yes. So what is most important for me that I understood when I went to my first convention, which was in 2008, I was a delegate for Obama, is that the folks who are there are us. A lot of times people think, oh yeah, well, we're us, and the legislators and the electeds are them. And what is so inspiring and so important about these conventions and the caucus is that we the people are getting an opportunity to engage in emphasizing and prioritizing what our values are, what we believe in. And so yes. And so to piggyback on what Chris is saying about diversity and welcoming inclusion, these are not just things that are like, this is really nice to have a diverse delegation. This is really valuable and important and necessary, because the more folks who are at the table, who are having their say as far as what they feel is important to them, those are the values that are going to come into the party platform. And so it is, I felt for me, it is a responsibility, it's a calling. It's not just something that I have to do, it's something that I wanted to do, because I wanted to make sure that my values, my priorities, my passions about issues and about legislation and about systems, that my opinions and my vote was counted. And so this is why it is so incredibly important for folks who have not been traditionally represented to have this chance to and this is a picture of the Congress in 2018. I don't know, Chris, if you have a picture of the Congress in I don't know, 2008. And I was looking for Pramila Jayapal, who is our congresswoman, who is such a fighter, who her voice, I mean, she has gone there with the idea of emphasizing and casting her votes and sponsoring bills and casting her vote for legislation that will align with her values. And it's the same thing for all of us. All of us, we have an opportunity to have our ideas and our concerns and our questions and our needs met, because we are there making it happen. And so I just want to say that especially folks who are members or who identify with groups that have been historically underrepresented, this is so important, and you really do make a difference when you're there. And so when we say we want our delegation from the 34th to be diverse and inclusive and equitable, we are saying this is the chance that we have for everyone who has not been historically represented to join us and make the changes, be the change that you want to be, to see legislation and changes happening for you.
Thank you, Rachel. And ultimately, this comes down to who is sitting at the table, who has an opportunity to put their thoughts, their voice, their opinion, their presence forward and shape, as Rachel so eloquently talked about, the platform, who gets to be there. How do we fill those seats? We know from history, if everybody sitting at the table looks nearly the same, that we don't get nearly as diverse a perspective, diverse voices or experiences. And it's so easy to agree on a core group of things and never consider anything else when everyone who's at the table pretty much looks the same. We've known that for a long time, but it's taken us quite some time to move from what we know to being actionable at it and changing that to what we see. And we know that when we change that to what we see, everyone benefits. We learn more, the community is better engaged. There are wonderful perspectives. We learn about issues and things that we didn't know existed in the very community that we're in. And that's only because at the table, those voices weren't there before. But when those voices are at the table, we all benefit and we all learn. So as we head out into this delegation selection process, it's so easy for us to just pick the familiar faces that we know. but our commitment to diversity and inclusion tells us we can still do that, and every vote counts towards diversity. It's just how much it will count depends on how willing we are to uphold and keep our commitment to diversity and inclusion as we make our delegate selection and march off to the state convention. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Chris, Colleen, Rachel, appreciate that. Now, folks, please take a moment to register. Steve's going to put the links in the chat. There are 2 different registrations. One is to be a voter. One is to run for delegate. If you want to do both, you need to do both. Very important. The reason why you have to register to be a voter is because our rules, the state rules require that you do not use any identifying item to vote, like your email or your name. We have to give you a number. So that's why you have to register to vote, to get that number. Okay, cool. Thank you again. I'm going to go back and share. We do need to do a little administrative item before we move to the next topic. The caucus committee, which is Ann Martin, Colleen, Rachel, myself, Chris as a arm from the state, are proposing 2022 delegate caucus rules for your consideration. The process with this is we consider them as a membership. We pass them to be reviewed by caucus attendees. And so this is the piece of where you need to look at the rules and let us know that you're okay with them or not. I did send these out in the email on Sunday. If anybody needs to see them, actually, let me just do this. I will pull them up. Here they are. They're very extensive. They're templated rules that were passed down from the state, and then we tweak them to make them, good for our caucus. Does anybody have any questions about the rules?
Do you need a motion?
Eventually, yes. If there are no questions, we can take a motion.
I would like to move approval of these rules for the caucus. That's Ann.
Yep, Ann Martin has made a motion to adopt.
I will second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bunny Hatcher. Ann has made a motion to adopt the 2022 Legislative District Caucus rules as presented. I'm going to launch a poll so you can vote in a poll. Let's go back. Stop sharing. And there you go. Please vote on the caucus rules. These are to adopt the 2022 34th Legislative District Caucus rules as presented. Adopt is yes, reject is no. And you need to be a PCO or member to vote. All right, let's let that go for a bit. Again, I believe the links are now in the chat. Please sign up to vote or be a delegate. We need you. And all right, votes are still coming in. Everything's looking very positive. Looks like we have approved or adopted by the membership caucus rules. Thank you so much. All right, we're getting a little late here. Sorry for the delay. Next, again, kind of like the events, can you believe that it's been almost 2 years since we've done an outreach event? This is the committee who has been recognized in our annual awards, and a committee which has been super active over the years, getting our brand out in front of all of our neighborhood, all of our neighborhoods in the district. I want to call up Karen Richter and Steve Butts. They're co-chairs of our outreach committee to share some plans for 2022.
Well, thank you, Carla. It's really a pleasure to be able to announce that our outreach events are back. It's been a long, lonely 2 years not being able to get out there, registering people and promoting our endorsed candidates at our booth. We're excited to tell you that the city of Burien has scheduled their events again for the first time in 2 years. And we've been making plans with the 33rd to share booths with them. We're going to start with Burien Pride in June. And then we're going to be at Strawberry Days, and we're going to be marching in the 4th of July parade. Boulevard Days, they're having a block party again in August, and then B-Town Fiesta in September. So those are the events that we know about right now, and Steve and I are looking for others that may pop up and become available. So we're going to try and add more to our list. So we'd love to have you out there volunteering with us. We need your help. We can't do it alone. It's more fun with more people. So if you'd like to volunteer, just let Steve or I know. You can do that by emailing us through outreach@34dems.org or giving us a call or a text, whatever you want to do. So we're very excited to be back. We're kind of rusty, so we're hoping to get back out there again. Steve?
Yeah, actually, we did two events last summer.
Oh, you're right. Boulevard.
Yeah, so
Boulevard.
yeah. So, but this year now, the parades are coming back too. The West Seattle Parade and the Burien 4th of July Parade.
Yep.
And but these things they're not, they're kind of coming out slowly. If you guys hear of any other events that you think would be appropriate to be at, please let us know. We can, work those into our schedule too. So.
We'd love to have you out there with us.
And I think Carla wants you to go to volunteer at 34dems.org.
Okay.
So whatever, or you can contact us directly too, for that matter.
I'd love to hear from you. And we're probably going to do another Adopt a Street. So stay tuned for that too.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve and Karen. Please consider volunteering for these events. We really need some able bodies with setup and takedown. There's some pretty heavy stuff that has to be lugged back and forth. So I know, having went to one of the events last year, that it's a lot of work. You don't have to necessarily stay for the whole event. Even help with the setup and tear down would be really appreciated. So take care of getting in contact with them, either through the volunteer at 34dems.org or outreach at 34dems.org. Great, thank you. So just a few announcements and we'll be able to let you go. Let's see, our next pop-up social, we had a really great pop-up social at Whiskey West last month. Senator Nguyen showed up and hung out with us, and we talked bills, and it was really great to see him up close and in person. Working on a special guest for this month as well. We're going with Steve Buss's suggestion. We're going to meet at Future Primitive Brewery in White Center on Friday, March 25th from 5:30 to 8. And I believe that they're having a special food truck there that night. So come ready to have some beer and some kind of, I think it's like a grilled cheese thing or something like that. It sounded really great. So please consider coming out and hang out with us. Obviously these things are just totally open to, come and go at any point during that window. This is really just about engaging with your friends and, fellow Democrats, some electeds, and having the opportunity to, gather together in person. So, whoa, my computer just froze on me. Sorry about that. So hope to see you there. Next meeting of our membership is April 13th at 6:30. Rachel is working on a program featuring the great work of Choose 180. Choose 180 is a nonprofit located in Burien. I know Aaron Garcia works with them as well. Their sort of pitches, they transform systems of injustice and supports young people who are too often impacted by these systems. We'll also be doing a couple of our statewide endorsements. Please mark your calendar for April 13th. Next board meeting, we are meeting as a board in person next Wednesday, the 16th. We're meeting at Youngstown Arts Building over in Delridge. We're going to do a tour of their meeting, their event facility for a potential future event. And happy to have anyone join us at our board meeting if you just let me know. This will be a little bit of a
board meeting next week.
Sorry, Bunny, I think you need to mute.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So this will be a little bit of a repeat from the newsletter. Hopefully you read Mr. Buss' awesome newsletters every month. I'm going to take just a couple seconds here to make that plea again for board members and committee support. We're seeking folks specifically who are technical in nature with all this, the meetings online, and you saw me trying to do like 2 or 3 things at a time while I'm running a meeting. We just need some people who can pitch in and help us out with technical things. I personally would love to get some support on the communications committee. If you're a writer, if you do graphic design, WordPress development, any of the social media outlets. I think I have someone, we had someone step up to take Twitter, so that was a nice help. Just need any kind of help in the communications area. We really just need a few more doers. We've got a lot on our plates. At times we're kind of falling over and we're getting ready to go into election season, so I really could use some help. So again, I'm going to say this probably every month until we get some more help, but my email is going to go in the chat there for you if you are willing to step up and help us out a little bit in the work of the organization. And thank you for that. I just totally blew my slides here. All right, there's my announcements, and now we're at good of the order. Does anybody have anything for good of the order?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, mine wasn't so much a good of the order, but was a reminder before we shifted gears. When people look at the affirmative action goals, the thing to remember is that those goals, those numbers are the floor, not the ceiling. So there's always room where we can do more, where we can be more proactive, and don't look at those numbers as once we've done that, our work is through. Again, that's the floor, not the ceiling. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Any other good of the order? We actually have 6 minutes to spare. Elizabeth, go ahead.
Hi, the West Seattle Democratic Women. We'll have a meeting later this month. It'll be Thursday, the 24th. And our theme this year is democracy and voting rights. And we hope to have a presentation about the role of the freedom of press and the role of the press and other media, but especially the press in a democracy. So stay tuned. I'll be sending information to Carla when we get specifics, and please join us. Thanks.
And I do put that when I get that from either Anne or Elizabeth, I get that in our weekly newsletter. Our weekly email.
I will note, thanks, Elizabeth, that is an evening meeting, so it will start somewhere between 6 and 6:30. We'll get details so that you can have it in the weekly newsletter. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. All right, anything else in the chat there? All right, I think we're good. Okay.
I had a quick thing.
Sure.
good of the order. Speaking of amazing and fantastic work that the legislature is doing to pass some bills, there's another bill that is it made it out of committee. I think it passed the House and now it has to go to the Senate. Is 1914, and that is to expand the film incentive program from 3.5 million to 20 million. And this has been for 15 years, our film incentive program in Washington State has not increased 1 penny. And it has hurt our economy greatly because we haven't been able to offer projects to production companies that want to come in and make films. And the thing about films is that when you make a film here in this state, our entire economy benefits from it, not just film people. So for every $1 invested in the incentive program, $10 goes into the economy. So when you consider we're going up to 20 million, that is a lot of money into our economy. We have a new film studio that is ready to go. We've got infrastructure right here in the 34th. Harbor Island Studios is ready to go. And if this bill passes, and we're feeling very confident about it, we're going to probably have triple the amount of film projects coming in to Western Washington and happening right here in our district. So this is an extremely exciting bill. I just wanted to let you all know that because it benefits all of us here in the 34th as it does Western Washington and the whole state.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. All right, anyone else? Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, if there's no further business and no objection, the meeting will be adjourned. Is there any objection?
Nope.
All right. All right, March meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, and hope to see you on the 25th at our social. Have a good night.
Night, everyone.
Thanks, Carla.
And our caucus on the 26th too. See you all there.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, come and join. Come and join. We want you to be there. Really, it's important.
Yes, as a delegate or an attendee.
Yes, we need both.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
No.